We just got sneaky, huge news that can change everything for the New York Jets against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We got to break it all down. So what's up, guys? I'm Matt Long. Welcome to Jets Digest. Before we hop into the video for today, if you want to get into the sports media game, you want to make content, make videos, or write about sports, make money doing it, make a side hustle or a full-time job, click the link in the description. There are opportunities at Digest Media, but let's hop into the news for today. Coming from Adam Schefter late last night, Buccaneers starting right guard Cody Mauch suffered a season-ending knee injury Monday night per source. Despite the injury, Mauch finished playing the game. The Bucs are expected to sign ex-New York Jet Dan Feeney off of the Bills practice squad. Also, the Buccaneers are also placing defensive lineman Calijah Kancey on IR with a torn pec and signed, DL, who cares? The big point is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers also lost their right tackle, Luke Goedeke. He's only out for a couple weeks, but a couple weeks is all that matters for the New York Jets. So let's break this down one by one. First of all, the number one guy that people are talking about right now, Cody Mauch, a second-year guy, young right guard, pretty solid player, but now the New York Jets will have absolutely no excuses not to be able to absolutely dominate versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. When they are down, they're already down Tristan Wirfs. They've been down Tristan Wirfs. They're all-pro, arguably the best left tackle in all of football for the start of the season. He's not going to be present against the New York Jets on Sunday either. So that's 3 of their 4 starting offensive linemen are down, including both of their offensive tackles, which means that our edge rushers like not Jermaine Johnson, because he might be injured, like Will McDonald and Tyler Barron, Michael Clemens, whoever the other edge rushers are going to have, they're going to have a great opportunity to go get after Baker Mayfield, a guy who has some athleticism, but he's not Lamar Jackson. It's not game-breaking athleticism, but we will have a great opportunity to run up the sacks and show off the physicality that Aaron Glenn has been preaching and has been promising since day one. The New York Jets have absolutely no excuse not to absolutely show up like crazy this game, offensive line-wise and defensive line-wise. The offensive line, we've spent a lot of first-round picks on these guys. AVT, he's hurt, but Membo's still there. Olu Fashion, who's there, second-round pick on our right now right guard, Joe Tippmann. We got tons of first-round picks on that offensive line, and we want to go ahead and run the ball. We should be able to run right over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Keyword should, with no Calijah Kancey. He is their, I believe, 2023 first-round pick out of Pitt. They did love him. He's now going on to IR with that torn pec, giving us the opportunity to run right up the middle. We can run now, trap right up the middle, any sort of power. We're going to do a little bit of running with Tyrod Taylor. He's significantly older than Justin Fields is, so he's not going to be as mobile or as explosive in the run game as Justin Fields would have been, but Tyrod Taylor still brings a lot of the same pros to the table that Justin Fields brought. He's still a quarterback with a high level of athleticism, someone who is going to be able to be used in the quarterback run game, and someone who New York Jets fans should be pretty excited to see play quarterback, because in the short times that we've seen him spelling our starting quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, a couple of years ago, or I guess only 1 year ago, against the San Francisco 49ers in week 1, looked pretty good. He also put up a touchdown just this past weekend versus the Buffalo Bills. So when it comes to passing the ball, Tyrod Taylor isn't expected to be a super large drop-off from Justin Fields, although it is worth mentioning that the San Francisco 49ers were preparing for Aaron Rodgers. They were not studying tape preparing for Tyrod Taylor. Same thing with the Buffalo Bills. They were studying tape and preparing for Justin Fields. Also, when Tyrod Taylor entered the game against the Buffalo Bills, they were not bringing out their best stuff. They weren't bringing out their top guys or their top schemes or their top tricks. It was the end of the game. It was garbage time. So it doesn't count for nothing, but it doesn't count for everything. What we've seen from Tyrod Taylor is that he's still a capable backup quarterback, now put into the starting role. The reason why backup quarterback is one of the most underrated positions in the NFL is because every team has to have a backup quarterback that in the event that you do need to start them, your team has to know we still have a chance. It's not just, let's say your quarterback's out for 4 weeks. If everyone's saying, oh, we're just dead for these 4 weeks, that's a problem. You have to make sure you have a backup quarterback. We didn't have a backup quarterback a couple years ago when we had Aaron Rodgers for the first year. He goes down with the torn Achilles 4 plays in, and then we have to bring in Zach Wilson, who of course does not play as well as anyone had envisioned when we drafted him second overall. But now we do have a backup quarterback, so we can focus on that positive, that a lot of the game plan does not change when it comes to Tyrod Taylor versus Justin Fields. We're still going to be able to run our RPO game, and I am excited to see what they're going to bring out in terms of quarterback runs with Tyrod Taylor, because in the past, he has been a pretty athletic, a pretty mobile guy. But so far, the offensive line, this is really... they've looked good so far. They've looked really solid, have earned very high grades on Pro Football Focus, but it's time to show out and actually announce yourself as one of the top offensive line units in the NFL. With the draft capital that we have invested in this offensive line, there really is no excuse for these guys not to go out and be a top 5 offensive line. I know that's a high bar to set for these guys because a lot of them are very young players, but it's something that this offensive line is certainly talented enough. It's a bar that they can reach. I'm not going to go out and set the bar where these guys can't get it. You have to understand what people's ceilings are and understand what guys are capable of. And you can't ask players to do more than they're capable of. But this team, the amount of talent on this offensive line, they absolutely can go out there and dominate fully healthy lines. It doesn't even have to be a defensive line who's missing their second best defensive tackle in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's going to be tough to run, right through the A gap because they still have their all-world nose tackle, zero tech. Vita Vea is still going to be in the middle of the field, but it should be easier to run, through the B gap or to the outside. We know the New York Jets love their outside zone runs, especially with Breece Hall, who's always a threat to take the ball all the way to the end zone if you give him enough free space. Braylon Allen, is still going to have some level of troubles trying to run right up the middle because, like I said before, Vita Vea is going to be all over those plays, ran right up the middle. But Breece Hall, it's kind of week 1. He looked back to his old Breece Hall ways. He didn't rip any runs off really well for a touchdown, but he looked like the Breece Hall of rookie Breece Hall, like sophomore season Breece Hall. It didn't look like the third year of Breece Hall last year, where very, very highly disappointing, especially if you play fantasy football. I'm sure we're disappointed in the finish of Breece Hall coming off of a running back 2 overall finish, even after the torn ACL. So there is a lot more meat on the bone left for Breece Hall. I would like to see us win more games so people can stop talking online about, Breece Hall being traded. But if the New York Jets are, have 1 or 2 or even less than that wins at the trade deadline, then you have to trade Breece Hall because there's a good running back is the cherry on top of the sundae. You don't pay a good running back if you're not a competitive team. The Jets have all the runway in the world to show off that they are a competitive team. One bad week versus the Buffalo Bills does not mean that they're a bad team, but we have to show off that was a bad game, not a bad sign of what this team is going to be in the future. Aaron Glenn is all about effort. He's all about fighting. He's all about toughness. Right now, there are people online after one game trying to throw all that away, saying he's just all talk. They're not tough at all. Right now, this game is going to be an easy opportunity for the New York Jets to show off the fact that they are a tough team, to show off the fact that they can be people movers in on our offensive line is going to move the other defensive line, and our defensive line is going to get right around those offensive linemen and get after the quarterback. You got to see high effort. Maybe the team isn't as good as, the Buffalo Bills. Maybe they're not as talented as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but we have to go out and fight every single week. Effort and stuff like cleaning up those dumb penalties. It doesn't matter how good or bad you are. The worst player in the league can be smart enough not to hit Josh Allen up high. Still annoyed about that Michael Clemens play, but hopefully this team is going to be able to learn from their mistakes, which is something that the New York Jets have not been able to do in the past. I know we talk about it a lot, but it has to be mentioned. Mistakes were just not punished under the Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas administration. Right now, it seems like things are moving differently, but there's not really quantitative results yet. We haven't seen the penalties are still really, really high through 2 weeks. You have to imagine that's going to go down because if Aaron Glenn's going to change anything, it's going to be holding guys accountable and it's going to be cleaning up dumb mistakes like that. So far, it hasn't happened. Like I keep saying, have faith in Aaron Glenn. Give him a little bit of time to implement his culture, and he will clean up those things. If it's the only thing he does, he's going to clean up those things. X's and O's, we're going to find out whether or not he's that guy, X's and O's wise. I know he's not calling the plays, but if the guy calling the plays, or if the offense isn't schemed up well enough, that's still on the head coach. If the defense isn't schemed up well enough, that's on the head coach. That's why you call him the head coach. But let's see what happens. The culture, it's going to take a little while, but it will get better. Aaron Glenn will make sure of that if that's the only thing he does. And that's what I got for this video. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and go Jets.